Hello YouTube makeup lovers. So today I wanted to do a video on my favorite concealer products. I am going to share with you guys my favorite concealers, but I'm also going to show you all the other products that I like to incorporate into my concealer routine, which I think are just as important. For me, concealer is very important, is the most important part of my makeup routine. I can go without any makeup item, but concealer is the one thing that I feel that I cannot live without. I do think that my under eye circles are pretty noticeable, especially if I am very tired. They really show. So I have pretty much always been on the hunt for the best concealer. I definitely think I have found one because I do have my #1 concealer of all time, but there are also other products that are also really great. So I really hope that you guys find this video helpful and that you have a lot of fun watching it. So the very first step in my concealer routine is something that is very important, because for me, if I do not do this step, my concealer routine is just not gonna work, and it is moisturizing. I think moisturizing under your eyes is very important before you apply your concealer. Otherwise, your concealer can get cakey and it's just not gonna look good, so you need to have your eye cream on first. The one that I like to use, and this is the only eye cream I'm gonna share with you guys because it is my favorite and for me it is the best, and this is the Fresh Creme Ancienne eye cream. I bought this at Sephora. You can get it on Sephora online. I'm sure you can also get it on the Fresh website, and they even have department stores that carry it. I know Nordstrom carries it, but it is just a great eye cream. It is kind of like a paste. It's not like a fluffy eye cream, and I love it because it goes on clear, but it really moisturizes and it makes a perfect base for you to add the rest of your concealer products, and they will not get cakey. You will not see your concealer get cakey, and that is something that looks awful if it does. So moisturizing is definitely very important, especially for me. I do have drier skin, so I definitely have to moisturize before I apply my concealer. The next product in my concealer routine is the Eve Pearl Salmon Concealer. This is a product that I always like to use in my concealer routine, and I use the shade Tan. I always buy this on evepearl.com. I have already been using it for a few years, and it's a product that I will continue to use. I really haven't found something that can substitute this product. I really honestly haven't really tried to find something to substitute this product just because I love it so much. After I moisturize, I like to dab some of this product under my eyes right before I apply the actual concealer. This is something more that I kind of like to use to correct more than to conceal. So that is why I like to use this first, and I think that the salmon color does a really great job for covering the blues and purples that you would get under your eyes. So this is a really great corrector, and it is the second step after my moisturizer in my concealer routine. Now for the actual concealer, which for me is step number 3 in my concealer routine, I'm going to share with you guys my favorite concealers. These are the ones that I like to switch around, and I use them all. I really love them all. There is one that is my favorite, which I will show you that one last, but there are other ones that I have found throughout the years that work really well. I'm going to share with you guys first the one that I have found most recently, and that one is the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Corrector Concentrate Cream. That is the name. This is what the packaging looks like, and here it is in the inside. This is the shade Light, and I bought this at Ulta. I have really been loving this concealer. Again, I do use it over the Eve Pearl Salmon Concealer, and it just goes on really nicely. It is a great color, and it really covers really well. Doesn't get cakey. Pretty much all the concealers I'm going to share with you guys, none of them get cakey, and I have never really had any problems with them creasing, and I really love them. So this is the one that I bought the most recent, but I fell in love with it right away. I have been using it a lot. The next concealer that I have really been loving is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I use the shade NW20. I really like this concealer. It has a little pump. One pump is enough for me to do both eyes. I literally just put one pump on my finger and then just dab the rest with my hand, and pretty much your fingers are a great great instrument to apply your concealer. They work wonders. I do use a brush, which I will show you guys in a little bit, but for the initial application, a lot of the times I just put it on with my fingers, and this is a really great concealer. This I feel is kind of like a full coverage concealer. It is a really nice one. I do like to bring it down in a triangle because I think it looks a lot nicer. If you like that bright look, this concealer works really, really well. For me, I feel like the IT Cosmetics concealer looks a little bit more natural than the Pro Longwear. This one I like to use a lot if I'm gonna go out at night, if I really want my makeup to be completely flawless. I really love this MAC Pro Longwear concealer. This next concealer I've actually been using for a very long time. I've been using it for many years. This concealer is the one that I pretty much like to pick up if I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to do the entire concealer routine. So this one I do not use over the Eve Pearl. I kind of just skip this step and just go straight from my eye moisturizer to this one, and this is the Perricone MD No Concealer Concealer. I would say that out of the bunch, this is the one that looks the most natural, kind of like an everyday concealer. You just do it very lightly. It pretty much conceals and corrects very lightly, but it does correct as well. So that is kind of why I use it on its own. But I do feel that it's a very light and natural concealer. So I like that a lot. I like to use this a lot when I'm going to work just because it's quick, it's just one step, and it's very, very natural. This one you can buy at Sephora. Another concealer that I have been using for a very long time is this MAC. This is the Studio Finish Concealer. I am also an NW20 in this one, just like I was in the Pro Longwear. This one is not as liquidy as this one. This one's more like a liquid. This one is more like a paste, but it also covers very nicely. I do think it's a thick concealer, but it does go on nice. It's very blendable. I think this is one that I like to use in the nighttime. It's not one that I would probably use that much during the day because I do think it is a little bit thicker, but it does cover really, really nicely, and it definitely makes your skin look flawless. So this is the NW20. For this one, I also have the NC20, which is this one right here. This one is a more yellowy concealer. This one is more pink. There you could see the difference. The pink I love to use under my eyes because the pink does a great job getting rid of the blues and purples that you get under your eyes. But the yellow I do like to use when I want to cover anything and conceal anything on my face. Like if I have a blemish, I'll use this NC20, but definitely for the under eyes, I would go with an NW color because it does have more pink undertones. So that's something really good to do with your under eyes. It really does help the coverage. And the last concealer I'm going to share with you guys is my absolute favorite. It is my #1 concealer of all time, and that is the Cle de Peau Concealer. It comes in a stick form like this, and this is the shade Beige, which is right here. This is all the way I can get it out because I'm pretty much done with it. Here you see a swatch of that beige shade. I love this concealer. If I had to pick one out of this bunch, it would definitely be this one. This is also the one that is the most expensive one because I do think it's the best one. I've never found one like this. I do love all these other concealers that I have shared with you, but this is definitely my favorite one, and I love the routine of using the Eve Pro Salmon concealer on the bottom and the Cle de Peau in beige on the top. To me, this is the under eye circle destroyer, and I just really, really love it. It's a concealer that I cannot live without, and this is probably like my 4th one that I have already gone through. It does last a really long time. I think it's gonna be almost a year already, and it's lasted me all year long, and I still have some there that I can still use. Unfortunately, I do not have a concealer to share with you guys from the drugstore because I have not found one that I love from the drugstore. The one time I did find one from the drugstore that I liked, it was discontinued. So I didn't want to just go to the drugstore and pick a concealer just for the sake of putting it in the video. I hope to find one. If you have a great drugstore concealer that you recommend, please let me know because I will try it out. I have tried so many concealers from the drugstores and I haven't been able to accomplish a good cover up for my under eye circles with those concealers. So these are definitely the ones that I would recommend. So So the last step in my concealer routine is definitely to set the concealer. I think setting your concealer with a powder is very important because it's going to make sure that your concealer lasts all day and that it doesn't crease. My favorite product for doing that is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, and I really like this shade right here called Diffused Light. Ethereal Light also works really well. Here is another ambient lighting powder that works great for setting your concealer, but I do prefer the Diffused Light. It's just the one that I grab the most. It is just a really great product because it sets a concealer. It kind of gives it a little brightening effect, but not too much. It has no frost and it doesn't look shimmery or anything like that, but it just works well, but it highlights in a very soft way where it's not very noticeable, or you don't really want to put a shimmery product under your eyes to set your concealer, and this works really great. This is the Diffused Light. For brushes, I do want to share with you guys some brushes that I love to use to set my concealer with a powder. Lately I have been loving this Sigma. This is a soft blend concealer F64 brush. I really like it. It works great. I dip it in the Diffused Light and then I just add it under my eyes to set the concealer, and it works wonders. So this is the one that I have been using lately. I used to always use this Bobbi Brown one, which is called the Eye Blender brush, but I have been liking this one a lot better, and it is less expensive. This one is from Sigma. Also from Sigma, I love the Sigma Precision Angled P84 brush, which is this one right here. This is the one that I actually use to kind of like pat my concealer and blend it in once I have applied it. Of course, a concealer brush I also use to apply it. This is the Sigma Concealer, the F75 brush. So pretty much what I do is I, use this brush to grab the concealer, and I pretty much just apply it with this brush, but then I take this brush to blend it, and I like to do patting motions like this. Another brush that I recently bought that I really like and works really great for concealer is this Sephora brush. This is the Pro Precision Foundation brush. Even though it is a brush for foundation, it works great for concealer, and it is big, so you can definitely pat it as well with a brush like this. It's also pointy, so you can get into little hard to reach areas with this brush. So I have really been loving this brush. I know it's a new brush, but it's just so wonderful that I had to include it in this video. But my all-time favorite is definitely this Precision Angled brush from Sigma. So that is pretty much it. These were my favorite concealer products. I really hope that you guys had a lot of fun watching this video and that you try some of these products out and incorporate them into your concealer routine. I will make sure to link down below my latest and most recent foundation and concealer routine, just so you kind of get an idea of how I actually use these products. And as always, I want to say thank you so much for watching Be Lounge Makeup. Bye!